I'm Brad Kelly.
What?
Huh?
Hmm?
Yeah, I'm Brad Kelly.
I'm Rachel Kelly.
And together we're Colorworld Books. Wiggle, wiggle.
Why are we doing a video?
Because it's another Kickstarter.
What?
Yeah, we're doing another Kickstarter.
Who's doing a Kickstarter?
Me and you.
What?
Okay, I guess I won't be doing this with you. Don't we have the comic book coming out?
What does that have to do with me?
Oh, that is kind of true. So we're about a year into this thing, and we funded our Kickstarter last October, and Rachel has kind of already written the book series. In fact, book 4 is getting ready to come out, which is why Rachel over here is not paying attention to anything that I've been doing for like weeks now. So Garrett, Richard, and I are actually going to be doing the Colorworld comic book. Turns out we did Staple, I think about February of this year, and it was an absolute utter disaster. And by disaster, I mean we sold 18 books, and when I talked to everyone else in the room, everybody that had an indie comic absolutely rocked Staple. In fact, most people said it was their best show ever. To date, we have never had a worse show than we did at Staple in Austin, Texas. In fact, we triumphantly returned to Austin, Texas and whooped its ever-living rear end when we came back with shiny metal bookmarks. But look, just because we're called Colorworld Bookmarks now doesn't mean that it's all about the bookmarks. So we're actually going to bring out a comic book. We've been working, Garrett and I have been working for months now to turn Rachel's story into a comic book, because that was one of the biggest feedbacks that we got at Staple, which is an independent media expo, that the world is now ripe for the indie comic creator. And in fact, Image Comics, which was started by Todd McFarlane all those years ago with Spawn, is in fact only exclusively creator-owned material. Well, that means for guys like me and Garrett, we have to figure out how to get the budget to put our book together to submit to Image so that we can wow them, they can fall in love with us, and then you can have a monthly comic book based on Rachel's story. But it turns out that we don't actually need Rachel anymore. Rachel has written so much of the Colorworld book story that there'll be 4 books by the time this Kickstarter is done. And Garrett and I have runway for years and years. We figure about 5-6 chapters of the book per issue of the comic book. We're going to do it based on the Savior style of Image, which means that the old idea of the establishing shot, meaning when you look at a comic book, one of the panels tells you where you're at in the world, that's gone by the wayside. And the new idea of the establishing shot is that the background is actually made up of the establishing shot. And then you'll see the action take place over top of the new establishing shot. This way, every inch of the comic book has art on it, which is totally fantastic and exciting, because that's the new wave of where comics are going in the future. We want to head that off by just outright starting there when we make our book. So that's how we're going to be designing it. The other cool thing about the Colorworld comic book is that it's going to be in a single color scale. So we're going to pick either blue or green or purple. That's up to Garrett. And instead of a gray scale, we're going to have a single color scale that's not black and gray and white. So that's going to be cool as well. The really neat part is anytime Wendy touches somebody and they go into the color world, the panel is going to pop into full color. So it's going to be a really neat effect, and you will never really know until you turn the page when Wendy's going to pop into the color world, when she's actually going to touch someone. And that's really cool because really by about chapter 5, everybody that Wendy has touched is now dead. Right? Okay, so you can see where the excitement's going to come is every time you see full color, Wendy's going to be touching somebody. So that's an exciting part. There's all kinds of really cool stuff that's going to be coming out of the Colorworld comic book series. It's going to be monthly. We're going to be submitting to Image when this Kickstarter is over and the book is funded and made. Now, what do you get as being a backer? You get the first issues of the series. We're actually offering issues 1 through 3, whether or not we produce it here at Colorworld Books or whether it gets picked up by Image and becomes an Image title. You can back us and get issues 1 through 3 directly out of our hands. Like I said, regardless of whether it becomes an Image title or it gets produced here at Colorworld Books. And thanks to our last Kickstarter project for the illustrated editions of the book, you already know that we can fund, put together, and deliver a project based on the funds on Kickstarter. In fact, the 4th illustrated edition of the book comes out this October, illustrated by Chelsea Mann. All of that has been brought about by the Kickstarter that was funded last October. Since then, we've been traveling around the country, meeting artists, interviewing people, and putting the team together. We have colorists, we have illustrators, we have inkers, we have cover artists, we have other writers. I mean, you name it, we have built a really super cool team here at Colorworld Books. I mean, we don't even need Rachel anymore.
Thank goodness.
Right? Rachel is so busy writing the books that I, Brad Kelly, will stop being able to tell you that I'm just the marketing guy, and I will get to be the writer on the comic book. So Garrett and I are working together to decide which part of Rachel's story becomes the comic book. Then Garrett has really full run of it to decide how he's going to make you see what he sees in his head. And then obviously we'll go back and Rachel will get final edits on the comic book so that, you know, something that she totally hates doesn't get published. But really, it's up to me and Garrett. So it's a really cool project. We're super excited to see Rachel's story, Colorworld, turn into a monthly comic book series. Like I said, it's going to come out come hell or high water. And all we need is you, because we're either going to produce it here at Colorworld Books, or we're going to submit it to Image in October, and it will get picked up by Image, and it'll be an Image title. Either way, to get the first issue done, we need you. We're offering subscriptions up to 1 full year based on your level that you back us on Kickstarter. Thanks so much for everybody who helped us on the last Kickstarter, and we're super excited for Colorworld, the monthly comic book series, coming to a comic book store near you.